I'm here to show you my implementation activity. It did not turn out exactly like I planned because our school ended up going virtual at the end of last week. And so my plan was to have a flipped classroom and to do all of the lecture at home and the actual analysis in class together face-to-face and work on those skills. But that did not exactly happen. My flipped classroom got flipped upside down, so here we are. So I want to show you what we're going to do with this implementation activity, and I'm not going to video my Google Meets because I don't have permission from all the parents, and it would be difficult to get all of those. So I'm just going to show you the plan, the implementation, or the planning phase, I guess, or I guess it's the implementation because this is where they will be accessing it as well. So here's my Google Classroom, and this looks a bit overwhelming, and I told the kids not to get too overwhelmed when they see all of this stuff because some of this is material, and they do have choices in all of these materials that they're doing, these assignments, I should say. So the Raven unit, the mini unit, this is the scaffolding piece that they're going to use. It has them rate or evaluate themselves in these different areas: comprehending poetry, vocabulary development, literary sound devices, and rhyme scheme. The reason I'm having them do some self-evaluation is that the STAR data having to do with poetry, the last time they were tested on poetry, since we didn't have a test last spring, was from their 7th grade year. I didn't feel like that was super reliable to judge their skills in these different areas, and I wanted them to kind of learn to evaluate themselves and so forth. Now, I didn't have 100% confidence in their ability to do that, so I do have that STAR data to back them up and help them evaluate themselves. But after they evaluated themselves, they're doing these activities, and they get some choices in how they're going to approach them. So there are reading comprehension questions, and I set a minimum and a maximum for each category so that it must add up to 100. They can choose how it adds up to 100. There's also a choice board on top of these skills that allows them to be artistic, to be creative, to do some different kinds of activities. So let me show you how those will work. So after they've done their scaffolding, after they've evaluated themselves and decided how they're going to allocate their 100 points, then here's the interactive whiteboard that they can choose to do. This opens it. It doesn't allow you to click in this format, but they should be able to click it when they open it. But basically, you can click on any of these, and it will take you to the rubric and the description of those particular choices. So they're color coded so that the kids can easily see if their technology is not working, like mine isn't right now, to be able to click on the icons. They can still color code them and match them up to what they are. So they can choose these. These are 5 points a piece if they choose to do that. The other choices that they have are the rhyme scheme. This is where it actually takes them to the work. These are some of the things that we're having to troubleshoot in class. This, would have been something, this week just would have gone differently if we were not virtual, but we have gone over the rhyme scheme together, but this is just kind of a backup or a reiteration of how that works, so that if they don't remember exactly what we talked about in class, in our synchronous session, they can come back here, and then the work is following that. It gives them some examples, and then they can do rhyme scheme. Now, I don't want them to just do rhyme scheme. I think there are over 100 lines, but I don't want them to focus just on rhyme scheme. So the other choices are, let's see here. Sorry, I'm on the wrong tab. They can do the vocabulary and literature devices, which is mostly sound, alliteration, and that sort of thing. Then background information. This one is actually, I made a voiceover PowerPoint presentation. So they can click on this, and this was meant to be part of the flipped aspect of my classroom, that they were going to do the lecture part outside of class, and then in class we would discuss that and apply the background information to the theme of the poem, because they are connected. But I think this will help them with their choice board to be able to kind of extend the ideas, since everything else is pretty much just multiple choice, or very much lower level thinking skills, not as much critical thinking. So I did put some pictures in here, and of course cited my sources at the end, so that I talk about citing sources, because that's always something that my high schoolers need to know. And so this is the background information that they would go through, and then the next thing is the poem and the audible. I put an audible that's read by James Earl Jones, so that just kind of adds some more interest to it, hopefully. And then the visual of the poem too, where they can look through the lines themselves. Then we have the reading comprehension questions. Those are not too exciting, so I'm not going to click on that. I mean, it's just kind of what you would expect there. I put a media connection from The Simpsons on here, so that maybe for my visual learners, when they look at that, they can compare those and see, what maybe Edgar Allan Poe was thinking. Of course, this one's funny, so it's a little bit different, but that hopefully will appeal to some of my ninth graders. So basically, this is going to be, it worked out that we're virtual this week because so much of this is independent, but I'm a little concerned as they're working through this on their own, because I really had envisioned that we would be in class and that I would be, facilitating some of this a little more than I'm able to do. But during our synchronous sessions, we are talking about, these different elements, and then I'm giving plenty of time to allow for questions. So I'm hoping it will still be beneficial for my students. It's not exactly as I had anticipated it going, but maybe I'll try again next year whenever things are a little more quote unquote normal. So this is the my unit that hopefully is on the right track for blended and personalized learning. And I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback on how I can make this better, because I will be trying it again next year, I think, with this unit, when I can implement it in the way that I had initially planned to. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to your feedback.